John, Beargreasers sled dog marathon mushers are now more than 24 hours into their 300-mile journey along the North Shore.
Here's a look at the leaderboard with some very interesting storylines. Erin Altmus of Grand Marais is in first place with about 130 miles to go. If she holds that lead, she would be the race's first female champion in 2 decades. Altmus is followed by two-time Beargreasers champion Ryan Reddington of Alaska. He took home last year's crown.
And Sarah Kiefer and Aaron Letzring are in 3rd and 4th place, respectively. And rounding out the top 5 is 18-year-old Arrow Wallen. The Two Harbors man is racing his first ever full sled dog marathon and is the youngest in the field. Now, all of these teams are currently at the Trail Center checkpoint and are expected to cross the finish line sometime tomorrow.
For several mushers, this year marks their first Beargreasers experience. Many signed up for the race up the North Shore as others across the country were forced to cancel due to the pandemic.
CBS 3's Natalie Grant spoke with one racer from the hills of Montana who explains why the Beargreasers is so critical to this year's racing journey.
Tucked in the trees of the Sawbill Trailhead, racing teams are resting up before heading back out on the trail to complete the second half of the Beargreasers Marathon.
I was told that the Beargreasers hills would be really difficult, but I come from Montana and we have mountains, so it's not been too bad.
For 20-year-old Charmaine Morrison of Bozeman, Montana, the Northlands trails have had an impact on her speed.
It's going all right, you know, the trail's a little slow. My dogs are not going real fast, but they're doing all right.
She says this weekend's fresh powder is to blame, but race veterinarians say in some cases that new snow has some benefits.
The last 2 weeks along the trail, the mushers that live here were very concerned about race conditions because there was no snow, which is hard on the dogs.
More powder, less injuries.
My goal is to finish with as many as I can.
Finishing strong with all her dogs is key for Morrison, who signed up for the Beargreasers with a very particular goal in mind.
This is my first Iditarod qualifier. In about 3 years, Iditarod is the goal.
Beargreasers was not always on her racing agenda, but due to pandemic-related cancellations, Morrison added it on, hoping to qualify for her dream race through Alaska. As she headed back on the trail Monday, she is taking it one leg at a time.
My goal is just to keep the dogs happy, keep them snacking on the trail, making sure they're staying hydrated, and keeping them in good spirits.
Enjoying her time in northern Minnesota and moving closer to her Iditarod goal. Now, after racing teams took off from the Sawbill checkpoint on Monday, they have 2 more checkpoints to complete before crossing the finish line just north of Grand Portage sometime on Tuesday.
In order to qualify for Alaska's Iditarod race, you have to run 2 pre-approved 300-mile races. This will be Morrison's first. We'll continue to bring you coverage from the trails up until the teams cross the finish line tomorrow.